important that everybody learns how to swim. It's important for safety. It's important for health and well-being.
Who's going to benefit from this?
The swimming hole is going to be able to give free learn to swim classes for adults in the area in the Northeast Kingdom who have not been able to learn how to swim for any reason, to this point.
Thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Welcome to NEK VT Rocks. My guest today is Charlotte Brynn. Charlotte is the executive director of the swimming hole in Stowe and a Newport resident. Yay!
Well,
finally.
Thank you for the warm welcome and thank you for having me here today.
And we're going to talk about the Vermonster.
Excellent.
I love that word,
yeah.
the Vermonster.
Yeah, fun.
What is it?
So this was an inaugural event, and it was a bringing together of some elite marathon swimmers from around the country, and each swimmer was pegged to swim 20 miles, and it's so challenging that we lost one swimmer before the start.
I didn't hear that
no, not
before.
For that reason, really. But anyway, so the Vermonster was a 2-day event, and the idea was to have the swimmers sponsored and raise funds for providing free group adult learn to swim lessons in April, which happens to be Vermont Adult Learn to Swim Month.
Oh,
I know. How about that?
I didn't know that.
Since 2016.
Wow. You've got some really depressing statistics about adults and swimming.
Yeah, it's really frightening actually, and not to go doom and gloom, but so the over a third of the adults in this country can't swim the length of a pool.
Wow.
And 37% of the adults in this country would not be able to save themselves if they went in water above their head. And, for obvious reasons, that's really, really concerning, right down to the statistic that up to 22 people per day have a drowning in this country. And it's stuff that we can do something about, and it goes a wee bit further than that. When there's a household with adults who are non-swimmers, the chance of the children in that household learning to swim themselves is only 19%.
Wow.
I mean, talk about having the odds stacked against you.
Right.
And then, given that we've got so many lakes and rivers and fun opportunities
Up
for
here,
water,
particularly.
it's something that I certainly feel pretty passionate about, that we can help improving having a life-saving skill, and also open up the avenue for fun recreation and safe recreation too.
Right. I mean, it's sort of hard to believe, because you and I both grew up in other countries, and swimming was compulsory for us.
Yeah,
we had to learn.
When you're told, oh, look, you have to do it. It's, for some things
Right.
you put your claws in, you're like, no, I'm not, don't
There
make
was
me.
no choice.
Yeah, but we loved it.
Right.
We couldn't wait, because it was within the school day, and
Right,
we'd file
exactly.
out 2 by 2 down to the pool,
Yeah.
and we'd have our swim lessons 2 days, maybe 3 days a week.
Right.
And we didn't finish until we were seaworthy, literally, because I grew up on a beach. So
Right. Yeah, we both grew up on islands, so it made total sense. So I was shocked when I came here and found that despite that there are so many pools, people still don't swim.
yeah, and it's so there's a number of factors, and there are emotional, psychological reasons for not learning. Some just haven't had the opportunity, and there's also economic barriers as well. And in 2016, I petitioned to the governor, then Governor Shumlin, am I correct pronouncing it correctly, to declare April Vermont Adult Learn to Swim Month. And I'd been involved in providing some free swim lessons in 2015 to a group of adults. And there was a group of probably 12 of them, and we were gathering by the pool, and there was a certain amount of tension in the air. You could tell that people were anxious.
Sure.
And which I totally get. And people eventually, we got in the water, and there was one participant, and after 2 sessions, I mean, he was in, but it was definitely not comfortable. And I was I wanted to try and offer some additional support and understanding. Well, I'd never be able to understand what he'd gone through when he shared with me that he'd watched his 6 to 7 year old brother drown.
Oh,
And this is an adult who didn't get back in the water.
sure.
And I thought he had tremendous courage coming in and, overcoming that fear and being willing to go. So the Vermonster really is, it was about a ton of fun in the water and achieving great feats of distance, all in the name of swimming for a cause to help others get in the water. And that's how it happened.
So before the elite swimmers, and some of them are from this area, the two Rivard sisters, everybody knows them here because of some of the phenomenal things that they've done. They were part of that group.
They were, yeah.
Which is great. So everybody had been finding people to place money on them.
Yeah,
to
essentially,
succeed.
I did that for them. I didn't want to put the burden on them for that, and I really wanted to get some of the community involved. And so I reached out to people in a master swimming class in Stowe and surrounding areas, and because people travel from other communities in to use the pool. And then also we have a lap swimming class, and essentially that was started because master swimming, which really just means an adult 18 and older to come in and swim. And you'd need to be able to do at least a lap of the pool, but it can sound intimidating. So I started a class that just, I think, was perceived as more friendly, and we've got quite a few people doing it and swimming further than they normally would. And they really enjoy the water, and they were really excited to work together to raise some funds to help other people come in and learn. So it was kind of a threefold event. We had some marathon swimmers enjoying training and raising for a cause. You had some recreational lap swimmers and master swimmers getting together to pool their efforts to help provide these lessons for others. So it's been pretty fun, and we're not at the lesson stage, but we're ready. We have lessons available, and we're ready for people to sign up.
Wow. You did a lot of work for this. That's big commitment.
Yeah, when you're passionate, it doesn't seem like a big deal.
It's
but
really
no,
cool,
it was. It definitely was, and totally worth it too.
Yeah. So how many people are going to be able to benefit from this?
Well, we will be able to get at least 40 people to have 4 lessons each, so 160 lessons. Yeah,
that's a really good start for people in life.
It is a really good start, and there's a comment I often get asked. How long does it take to learn to swim, or how many lessons? And first of all, it depends on the person. But the most important thing is, those first 4 lessons is getting comfortable or more comfortable in the water, and learning some really valuable safety skills that you can use for yourself, your family, and for others in the community. So, my hope is that, some people will be able to totally be able to nail a length of the pool, and others will be able to learn to put their head under, rhythmic breathing, exhaling underwater and inhaling above the surface. I always encourage not to do the inhaling under.
That's
that
really
is a joke.
smart. That's really smart.
The one of the most common...
We've all done it the other way.
I know. And it's... Whenever you're nervous or fearful or anxious about something, as humans, whether we're in the water or on the land, our first thought is to pull in, and it's a natural in the water. So if we can override that with experience and teach people to help to relax so they can just slowly exhale and inhale, it's a big start. So, helping people submerge, and then the next step, or super fun, is learning how to balance or have the water hold you up, floating. But I like to call it the water supporting you, because the water is, if you're gentle and relaxed in it, it is like what do you call a lilo here? Like a floating pool, a pool float.
Yeah.
The deal that you lie on, super
lilo.
comfy. Yeah, it's super comfy in the afternoon. So the water is like that; it will support you.
It will hold you.
If you learn to lean into it, that's the key. You've got to be, if you do abrasive, chopping movements of the water, it won't support you. But if you just relax, keep your breathing going, it will actually hold you up.
The water is your friend.
Yes, it is.
And even for those who are not really interested in swimming a distance, just to be able to tread comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's huge health benefits, Pam,
Yes.
out there. You know, there's in the water, your heart rate is naturally lower from the pressure of the water. So right off the bat there, that's great. It's been, studies have shown it reduces stress, and it's a great combat for depression, and it's a mood enhancer. So, and you're getting a little bit of exercise. You're getting to strengthen your heart and lungs. And
it's non-weight bearing.
Non-weight bearing, so there's things in land that might be restrictive. In the water, you have much more support and movement.
Right.
So it can be a form of exercise, play, cooling off, and I think it's really great for families. You know, we're all connected to these, and when you connect to one of these, you're often disconnected to everyone around you. And you know, one thing I noticed about families getting in the pools, their devices aren't in the water with them, and you actually see mum, dad, caregivers playing and engaging with the kids. And I know people do that in parks and other places too, but it's like full on attention, and I just think that we could all use some more of that.
We certainly could.
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, that's my pitch for the water. It just also reduces the, you know, some of the risks of the main diseases.
So how are you going to recruit? Because I bet you fill up really fast.
Yeah, well, we're, you know, talking to you to get the word out. We are reaching out to some other news outlets and some press releases and some paper. And if anyone's connected on social media, you can check out the swimming hole. And
there'll be information
in Vermont,
there.
and there's we also have the website www.theswimmingholestowe.com, and we've got the lesson times there, a description of what's offered, and a way that you can sign up online.
It's great.
You don't even have to talk to a human until you get there.
Oh, I think I'd want to talk to a human along the way, or at least a mermaid.
Yeah.
So if people from up here who may find the distance to Stowe challenging because of their day jobs or lack of transportation, they could still connect with you, and maybe you could build a waiting list for other things, other
definitely.
possibilities.
That's a great point. And then also, I mean, if that's the case too, if there are, you know, 2-3 people who are interested in coming down, I mean, carpooling's great.
Yeah.
I carpool with my husband every day to work.
You both drive to Stowe.
And again, other opportunities. And, you know, who knows, there might be some nice, some generous supporter or sponsor who is interested in helping provide transport. That would be really neat.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, we do have a Saturday session, and so there is a weekend option there as well. And, you know, I'd say watch this space for future stuff.
This sounds like such a wonderful idea.
Yeah, well, and it's not reinventing the wheel. I mean, people have been enjoying the water for
Ever.
centuries.
Yes.
Centuries. It's just now we're not having to wear, you know, long pants and skirts and hats and stuff to get it, like you used to in the 1800s or 1905.
Can't imagine. I mean, I learned to swim when I was very young, and initially my mother came in the water too, and I remember what she wore, which was pretty wild as I look back.
Yeah, look, there is a swim in Boston out to the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And I've completed the swim and I really loved it. And my point is not telling you about the swim, it's I like history and I like to read about where I live and where I'm going to swim. And so I read up about the Boston Light, and I can't remember the woman's name, but up popped this person from 1906 or 1907, and she had gone down to enjoy the waters of the ocean in Boston Harbor in, think of like knee cut-offs over the shoulders, you know, so fully covered, knee to shoulder. She was arrested for indecent exposure. And I'm like, you know, what a long way we've come.
Yes.
You know, and there's still barriers out there, of course, but it was, definitely.
Yeah, and many of us have swum fully clothed by accident frequently.
Yeah.
But it's much harder.
Oh, much like in lifeguard, well, we call it life-saving in New Zealand, where I grew up, and we had to do our swim tests in clothing.
Right. So did we.
Yeah, and it's difficult.
Yes, it really
difficult.
is.
And it's, one thing about coming in and getting involved in some water safety and education is if you're lucky enough to be out on the lake or on the shore and you either fall off a boat or slip in, at least you're going to have some sort of base to help you,
yes.
A, not panic, and B, keep your head up above the water.
Right.
It's really important.
It is, and it's the not panic that is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not think you can swim to shore from wherever you are, but that doesn't matter. You've got other means to just keep yourself safe.
Yeah, if you can keep afloat long enough for help to come out,
yeah,
that's really important.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there are a number of floats that we're going to help people with. One of them, this is not meant to be funny, it is, but it isn't, is I'm always so disappointed they call one of them the dead man's float. It's essentially saving your life.
Yeah.
But I'm like, could you come up with a better name? It's like, I like to call it the survival float. I think that is a better name. And so the classes are free. Mm-hmm. There is nothing to pay to get in the pool. Bring a towel, bring a bathing suit. If you have any sort of goggles, they're not mandatory. If you have some, you can bring them along. Mm-hmm. It's also good to go underwater without goggles, so you're used to it. Mm-hmm. And that's
and that's all you need.
That's all you need. Yep, a little bit of courage and a little sense of humour. And I think it's important for people to, we always feel like we're the only one experiencing something. Mm-hmm. But look. If you come in, there's going to be others who are feeling the same way you are. And normally we'll talk about it at the start, and sharing it helps a lot. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to share, that's okay too.
I think one of the issues, certainly for women, is I look like such a freak in a swimsuit.
I'm not nodding because I think you do.
Oh, thanks.
No, I agree with you.
I don't care.
No, you don't, by the way. I agree with you, and I hear that quite a lot from beginners. It's that fear of walking down the side of the pool. Mm-hmm. And so for anyone who's feeling that way, this is what I have to say, and I've said it to many people before, is believe me, people are worried about themselves, not looking at it. I mean, they
really don't
they've got
care.
their own stuff going on.
Right.
And, and the other thing is, look, I told some people, bring a jacket, bring a dressing gown, bring a big sweat, whatever you want to, whatever you feel comfortable to get down to where we get in. Mm-hmm. And we don't get in right off the bat either. I mean, it's about looking at the pool, feeling it with your hands. It could be a massive achievement to sit on the side and dangle your feet in.
Yes.
For someone. So if that's
Great
someone
start.
listening now, that's a huge... And I would say actually going to the website and reading about it would be the biggest overcoming of fear right there, and exploring it. And then it's, exploring. There's no pass or fail of feeling what the water feels like on your face and your hands. And if people don't want to put their chin in, they don't have to. We're not, there's no forcing going on. It's really led by each person, and we're there to help share the skills, because everything you learn, there's tricks and ways to do it to make it easier.
Absolutely.
So, you might as well learn from a professional and save yourself the pain of trial by error.
So true. And many of us didn't learn that way initially, and then you have to unlearn later on, because you never swim as fluidly if you don't at least take some lessons from somebody who really is good at stepping back and seeing what you do and what you don't do.
I've been teaching 30 years now. Doesn't look it, but I have.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, because the first thing I want to know is a little bit about you. I like to know what your history is with the water, good, bad, or ugly. And most people's account of their swimming is very different from reality. I'll often get, I know how to swim. Yeah, I've swum, absolutely. And I learnt very early on not to put people straight away in the water to show me, certainly not in the deep end, because...
They'd go under.
Yeah, or it might have been 40 years ago. So, if you're at home and listening to this and you're like, oh, yeah, no, I've had lessons, I'm totally good. And then if you're really honest with yourself, like, look, how long ago was it? and then how long since you've moved through the water. Are you in the physical condition to do it? And if you are, could you? And if it's no to either of those, why not come and explore and seeing if it's for you to open this wonderful world up.
Right.
There's nothing to lose.
Exactly.
You know, you've got good support, you've got like-minded people around you, and I tell you, learning or relearning something new, it's huge for your mental focus, your quality of life.
And if you actually put some work in, you might pick up where you left off at 14.
Yeah, or further.
Yeah.
And then go down to the lake when things warm up beyond 40 degrees and be able to have some fun down there.
I know. We are so lucky having that lake here.
It's amazing.
I hear people talk about not ever wanting to go into the lake because it's a great big scary place. It is fabulous.
It's so nice.
Wonderful.
It's so friendly.
It really is. And I would encourage everybody to go to our lake and other lakes too.
It's pretty addictive, actually.
Yeah.
Like you go in once, you want to go back.
Of course.
It's just, it's such an exhilarating feeling when you get out and not only the swimming, but the scenery.
It's
just
so
outstanding.
beautiful.
And just getting out in nature, whether it's a walk or whatever you're doing, it's a natural decompressant, and we all need it these days because there's lot of stimulation going on out there in the world, and we've got a great way to relax.
It's true.
Here, in so many different forms too. Fishing the ice fishing, the boating, the swimming, the paddling. There's just no end
or just sitting at the edge of the lake.
Yeah, and soaking.
Just looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I would say, you know, getting in the water is a victory, and taking 2 or 3 strokes, whatever they are, is a victory. And then building on that. So if someone's interested, that's how you do it.
Great. Well, okay, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
And when there's more classes and more options, come back.
Definitely.
And
I do like to chat.
Right. And there will be pieces from the Vermonts to swim interspersed with what you and I are doing, because that was the fun part of me coming down there. And
it was so great having you
there.
That
was so much fun.
And you know, for everyone listening, the clips of the Vermonsters, they all started somewhere.
Yes.
They weren't born swimming like that. And it's not that everyone needs to swim that way. There's lots of different forms. But there is, I mean, the water welcomes everybody.
Yes. And looking at all of you who were swimming that day and the next day, you're all elite swimmers, and every one of you swims differently.
Yeah, different, absolutely.
Different strokes, different speeds, and yet all of you are record holders that were there, which is pretty fascinating.
Well, we all have a lot of good support from people in kayaks and boats and community members, not looking at anyone in particular, but we appreciate all the support and encouragement people give us. And you know, it's really fun to have people coming from out of state to visit and enjoy the lake. Yes. And that's growing too. There's more people coming, and they're bringing their families, and their families are looking to play and enjoy the lake, which is really great.
Which is why I'm wearing my Kingdom Swim t-shirt today, because, hey, when else can I display it publicly?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, Pam.
Does it surprise you that more adults don't swim up here?
No. People always have needed to learn to swim. Just want to get more of them in there.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. You're really working hard to do this.
Yeah. It's fun, though.
It looks like fun. And good workout. You're the one gentleman involved.
I am.
I know. It's amazing.
Trying to hold up my end of the bargain.
You live where? You live in Maryland?
I live in Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C.
Wow. So somehow you got hooked into doing this to benefit the world.
Yeah. We have a whole group of friends that are based in Vermont, and of course, I love coming up here. So there's some great swims and great people. So when the invitation came, I was on my way.
We have some wonderful lakes here.
Yes. You are very lucky. love it up here.
Maybe you will get someday.
You never know. It's possible. Somewhere on the lake, right?
Yeah.
We love it a lot.
The monster.
What's that?